containing dangerous Muslims. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo.
It's a frightening thought. Islamic terrorist training camps right here in America in our backyards.
So we made it through the holidays without a terrorist attack, but it doesn't mean we can ever let our guard down. Our enemies are persistent and they're patient. Could the hundreds of mosques in America be front?
This is where the precinct of terror lies, in Islam.
Stop profiling. We gotta stop profiling.
This is a holy war. This is essentially the Constitution versus the Quran.
It isn't a, quote, religion as such.
In 1993, World Trade Center bombing, remember? During the trial, one of the bombers claimed the CIA had advanced knowledge. The diplomat who issued the terrorist visa was CIA. It's not unthinkable they paved the way for the bombing, purely to justify a budget increase.
You're telling me that you're gonna fake some terrorist thing just to scare some money out of Congress?
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hennessy, I have no idea how to fake killing 4,000 people. So we're just gonna have to do it for real. Oh, blame it on the Muslims, naturally. Then I get my funding. Good night, old girl. Timothy, I'll be in Chopper 1. Oh, blame it on the Muslims, naturally.
إن الذين كفروا بآيات الله لهم عذاب شديد.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at obviously very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed.
As we come on air, we have serious news of a major, very tragic event for you right now. Incredibly, plane crashed into the World Trade.
What's this other jet doing? What's this other jet doing? Holy fuck!
Oh my God.
153. At the count of three, everyone should be on page 153.
This community has been an epicenter of anti-Muslim hate and xenophobia.
Dawood Walid, executive director of the Michigan Council for American Islamic Relations, calls the harassment an unspoken tragedy since 2001.
When it comes to issues such as school bullying, workplace discrimination, and harassment by government officials, this has steadily gotten worse.
FBI hate crime data show a surge in anti-Muslim incidents after the 2001 attacks, with another wave hitting in 2015.
I think Islam hates us.
أفغير دين الله يبغون وله أسلم من في السماوات والأرض طوعا وكرها وإليه يرجعون.
So, Mark, we've been having a debate throughout the show whether or not Islam somehow lends itself to more extremism than other religions, and whether or not moderate Muslims are doing enough to speak out about it, and when they are, if we're all covering it enough. What do you think?
That's a great question. First, I think that the general Muslim community, we're talking over 1 billion people, do speak out against acts of terrorism. They do speak out against, gross things like beheadings. Although I'd like to think that we would assume that the average Muslim, just like the average Christian or anyone else, begins from a place of basic human decency. You shouldn't have to denounce beheadings. We should assume that as an everyday person, you don't believe in beheadings. But that said, I think the Muslim community has spoken out. I've seen rallies. I've attended rallies. There have been masjids around the country, around the world, in fact, that have done this. But the mainstream media doesn't seem to cover this as much as others. And finally, no, Islam is not any more violent or prone to violence than any other religion. We've had crusades in every religion. Yeah. We've seen all religions spread by the sword. It's simply not true.
Oh, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, it is absolutely. There's a large section of it that unfortunately is violent. And if you read the Quran, as I've read it, there is a lot of verses in there absolutely bluntly saying in the current sense that you are to take off at the head of those that do not agree with you, and you are to go after those that do not believe in Allah.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz.
Am Anfang schuf Gott Himmel und Erde.
太初，上帝创造了天地。
No princípio, Deus criou os céus e a terra.
Au commencement, Dieu créa le ciel et la terre.
La început, Dumnezeu a creat cerurile și pământul.
Вначале сотворил Бог небо и землю.
I begynnelsen skapade Gud himmel och jord.
ในปฐมกาลพระเจ้าทรงสร้างทุกสิ่งในฟ้าสวรรค์และโลก
في البدء خلق الله السماوات والأرض.
هل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالوادي المقدس طوى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى وأهديك إلى ربك فتخشى فأراه الآية الكبرى فكذب وعصى ثم أدبر يسعى فحشر فنادى فقال أنا ربكم الأعلى
Let's get this American record straight. This man was labeled as a hero by the media for leaving his own land to go secure an opium field for his mother and her allies, to kill God knows who and fight men that his own mother's allies trained. This man was fighting to live, while any man that fought against the likes of him were labeled as a terrorist, men who fought in their own land against forces that threw the first stone, foreign forces like ISIS, and forces that wants to colonize their homes and land, forces that do not believe in God or in the real day of judgment. These men were fighting to death. These men are fighting for peace.
We have a problem with young white men in this country who have the access to these deadly weapons.
Suspected shooter, a 21-year-old white male from Allen, Texas.
The gunman targeted El Paso because it is a border town that prides itself on its bicultural population.
It's still unclear why he made that trip, right?
I don't blame President Trump for El Paso.
To say that Donald Trump inspired that guy is just a lie. Why are you linking that rhetoric to violence?
I am saying
when there is no linkage.
They know it's a sensitive situation in this country right now. They're trying to determine exactly the names. It's a Middle Eastern name, and the other one is also, quote, a weird name.
More and more likely, this could be a possible terror attack. A devoutly religious Muslim, so that now
raises once again the possibility that this was a terror attack. Within minutes, I mean minutes, there are people that race to politicize, exploit acts of violence to score cheap, intellectually dishonest political points.
People just died, and already they're blaming.
Hundreds of millions of people, literally a year across the world, listen to political speech. They don't become savage maniacs and shoot up a Walmart.
Your plan is evil, and anyone who tried to oppose you, you tried to defame.
الذين آمنوا يقاتلون في سبيل الله والذين كفروا يقاتلون في سبيل الطاغوت فقاتلوا أولياء الشيطان إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفاً